And the war, the CSGO civil war does continue. You know, I think it's going to be very underrated. I'm going to stick to it, guys. 2020 is going to be a very weird year for TOs when it comes to these CSGO leagues out there. I am super curious how things will turn out. And the war, it does continue. I'll keep you guys posted on updates, especially the juicy ones out there like this one, that being ESL calling out Thorin for making a bit of a mistake in the past 12 hours around B-Site and their qualifying dates. It was first brought to us by the man himself, Zelsis. Shouts to the boy. And he brought up the point that apparently B-Site qualifiers were at the same time as the minor qualifiers for the ESL 1 Rio Major. Obviously a huge issue for many teams out there and mixed teams trying to qualify for both, as most mixed teams and even solidified teams out there try and qualify for as much as possible. If we have the biggest event so far throughout 2020, that being the major, also tied to the same dates of those qualifiers as B-Site, which is again going to be hopefully one of the bigger leagues or the most established leagues we have in CSGO throughout 2020. That's obviously a huge issue for many teams who want to try and compete in both. Now, it was Thorin who responded to Zelsis saying that is factually incorrect and making the statement that ESL had apparently overlapped their qualifying dates with B-Site, who established their qualifying dates first. Now, a representative of ESL actually responded to this and proved Thorin, a rarity here, it actually is a pretty big rarity, proved him wrong. The fact we have an international document out there, you know, supposedly where all TOs can actually post their dates for their qualifiers and their events, and it shows that ESL was there and B-Site is nowhere to be found. Within a couple of hours, Thorin has now responded, guys, and he actually was incorrect, and it was ESL who had those dates and times set first, and then B-Site who had in fact then placed, unfortunately enough, timely-wise, the same qualifying dates. Now, also, obviously, the biggest issue here is going to be the fact that players still need those new dates for either qualifiers. The major qualifiers will not be moving around. B-Site will be. Thorin did clarify that. B-Site either way is going to try and move those dates so teams can actually qualify for both the major and possibly qualify for B-Site as well. He also does respond later on to say he did not lie. You know, it was misinformed information, guys. He then corrects his mistakes and does apologize to ESL as well. Now, amidst all of this, guys, again, I'm not really taking sides. I do really like Thorin, and I do really like ESL Pro League. I don't like the things that, you know, maybe sometimes either party, what they do in action behind those things. Thorin has certainly said some things that have been pretty crazy, but all the time he's also saying some pretty great things as well. I've given him credit where credit is due, and especially we talked about just yesterday, the dude really kills it wherever he goes. And I know there's a lot of backlash back and forth when we talk about a guy like Thorin, but in the moment, he has a lot of great ones, and there's not a lot of people that are like Thorin. I will give him that credit to the day he is gone. Now, when it comes to ESL, I love the production they put on, right? When it comes to most established and most dominant CSGO leagues, I would presume for 2020, they will continue to do that. Although, you know, similar backdoor feature here, guys, ESL this past few months has been the scummiest organization in CSGO. This is no secret. I'm not holding back on it. What they did to a couple dozen teams, in particular, a few teams out there financially and feasibly for the players who lost their jobs, it sucks. I wish I could cuss right now. What ESL did, it should be unforgivable. Unfortunately, we live in a time where we need ESL for CSGO to succeed to a certain part, and I really do think no matter what they do, ESL is so dominant, they will still maintain one of the biggest leagues for this year, which, I don't know, it's sucky. So I will say this, although ESL caught Thorin out here, there is still a huge debate of what 2020 will bring, and it's lovely. We still have Blast Pro, which, by the way, they're growing on me. I don't know where you guys stand on this, but especially this past weekend with the spring series, their production and the set itself, Blast Pro is growing on me, which is super funny because 2019, Blast Pro was enemy number one as they tried to take over their own kind of exclusivity, right? And now 2020, it's ESL versus B-Site, which, by the way, has a long few months ahead of it, and to see who's going to be the top one, right? ESL still maintains, and a lot of heads out there, they probably will maintain a majority of the top teams, and with dates overlapping, we have B-Site so far only announcing 6 teams, all American teams so far. And so what many people are calling the B-Site League being a Tier 2 league, we still have yet to see who they're going to announce for their top tier teams out there, which is going to, you know, probably be the focus of the debate going forward. Thorin was called out here, but still B-Site also offers more profitability and more, I would say, revenue forms, a higher revenue, what they do claim to be pretty easily for all the players who do participate. But ESL, compared to that, they have all the better teams. So the debate does continue. ESL catch out Thorin, but there is still much of a debate going forward, guys. What do you think about this? It's a tough one. It really is. ESL, as of right now, we're going to presume they have the better teams. They have the not so great profit structure for those players and those teams, but they have what people care about viewership-wise, the better teams. You know, but then behind all of that, they are scummy. What they've done to several teams out there should be, it should go down in history as one of the worst things ever done by a TO out there. So they have the teams, they have the viewership, we presume, but they're incredibly scummy. Then we have Thorin and B-Site, who have 6 American teams so far. Thorin was caught in a measly, not really anything here. You know, they're going to move around the dates no matter what. So he was caught calling out ESL, even though he maybe shouldn't have. Factually, he was not correct there. But then we still have, you know, profit structure. They have that on their side. They have 6 American teams. Can they find other teams to join this league on top of that? Again, we're going to go back and forth for a long time, but what do you guys think about this? Blast Pro over here, ESL and B-Site right here competing. We will see who comes out on top. Until next time, take care. More CSGO news, other news coming soon.